right. Hopefully everything works. I haven't used some of this stuff in a while since I have my gimbal. That's where the phone's at right now. Um, yeah, I got the gimbal set up. Thankfully, it actually had um, a bit of a charge. I charged it up a couple days ago, and then obviously this guy right here I got during Christmas time because it was cheap. I need more lighting. Let's see what I can put on that's like a constant. No, not regular TV. I do have something that was I was playing earlier that doesn't change, so like it can be at least a consistent light right in front of it. I don't have anything else on. Obviously, I'm not broadcasting from my computer. So, ooh, really interesting. Put up something. Ooh, it was a high vision deal. Okay. Yes, I am going into YouTube. But anyways, yeah, I'll get back to the microphone later. That was a pickup for much cheaper than it usually is. Although there was at the very least a always pre-roll ads. There's like a version of this. It's a DJI Mic Mini 2 that you can buy it with just the transmitter and the receiver. The mic's the transmitter. There is a smaller little receiver right now that's hooked up to the phone, kind of the way a lot of other stuff hooks up. Like you can hook up your phone to, like say, grab it here. The Pocket 2, it's in its case right now, where you can actively kind of have it connected to something like this metal holder here, where you can put your phone in there, and you have a little connector that slots into, say, on the Pocket 2, this little deal here with the control stick, you can slide out, and you can put in its place. It's got like 6 pins on the other side that will let you hook it up directly to a phone, and you can interface with the phone and the Pocket 2 at the same time. Same thing on here. There's a little spot on the bottom of the Mic Mini 2's receiver that will let you do the same thing. So I just have it plugged in directly into there because the transmitters will hook up via Bluetooth to the phone, but it doesn't work with a lot of things. But I know with the receiver being plugged in and then firing up, say, the Twitch app here, I can go into the options and go, oh, okay, can I pick which mic I'm using? Yeah, it shows up right away. So hopefully it sounds okay. I know within the DJI Mimo app, you can set the active noise cancellation. It should just be on the regular one. You can turn it on. Cool. And Darkstar, welcome in. Actually, I got to open my beer. Hold on a second. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope this beer doesn't explode. We're going to open it real slow. There we go. It's been sitting, I rinsed it off because it was in the fridge for a little bit. I usually tend to do that with cans still. Even though we're like way post-COVID, I'll just, kind of, that is not a bright enough image over here. Whatever. We're working with it. Yeah, some of those, some beers can be more vigorous than others, but cheers. Yep. I was worried about these beers. It was a pack of 4 of them that me and DNC had picked up from Abel Baker Brewing downtown, and they ended up, I think, in his trunk for like a week and a half. It was not at a warm period of the year. It was a little bit warmer than normal, but considering how long it took for it to actually like get cold here in the valley, everything was a bit too warm. But he was kind of like concerned about, it's like, that's the third one I've drank out of the 4. They've all been fine. So they weren't in direct sunlight. They wouldn't have been exposed to really high temperatures anyways. They've been in my fridge the last couple months, so like they're fine. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, with the transmitter and everything working out. Yeah, this is my first real test because See if it picked that up. That wasn't a loud belch, but I tell you this much: talking for a while and then having beer on top, even just water. I think it's the amount of breathing on top of drinking something. You're inhaling air. I wonder if like voice actors have to deal with that, where they're doing lines for a while and all of a sudden they just have to go, and belch. It's a weird way of, what are you doing? What are you doing with your hands? Yeah, this is the first real test of the mics. So I can hopefully live stream here in the next month or month and a half. Whoa, I just hit something on my, what did I hit? Oh, it was my DualShock 4 there. Then I need to probably charge. That was another thing I got for Christmas for really cheap, but that's mainly going to be used for when my SuperStation 1 finally shows up. But yeah, and I guess first things first, and I'll probably talk about it, not a whole lot. Maybe if we get more people are in the room or hanging out. And then I think it would be like way too obvious once I start posting stuff. I do have another trip lined up to Japan at just after the Super Bowl, because we have a peak day at work, and I'll get to work here in a second because this week's kind of sucked. But I'd been planning that for a little bit, and I had to talk to my boss for a little bit just to be like, hey, what points can I like dip out for like 2 or 3 weeks? And it was either February or June. So I was like, well, I don't really want to wait till June. June's the rainy season in Japan. There's not a whole lot going on in February, but that's kind of to, I wonder if that's causing noise too when I move my shirt. It's to my benefit if there's not a whole lot going on in January or in February, then hey, I'll just go. It's gonna be about 2.5 weeks. And for right now, I am kind of treating it as it's not my final trip going there, but it will be my last one, I think, on purpose for a little while. I had talked about it a little bit, even when I was there last year, now that we're in 2026, when I was there last May, where I felt like it was kind of getting to the point that even though I loved going there, I wasn't getting excited anymore. And I had wondered back then and wondered throughout the year, especially as I was thinking ahead, and I was like, well, I'm going to go back. I want to go back. But I really wasn't really getting like excited about going again up until I bought the ticket and I started kind of getting things in motion again. And I thought, is it becoming too familiar? That's pretty much where I'm at. And I know there's other places I've always wanted to go to. Every major trip I've made in my adult life, if it's not here in, the continental US, it's been to Japan. I'm not getting any younger, and I need to kind of start looking at other places that I've put off, where maybe I'm more afraid of going there because it's like, oh, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, because obviously I don't have friends in a lot of other parts of the world, and I have to factor that cost in, and maybe they'll have to be shorter trips, I should say, because of the cost of finding places to stay. It's not going to be as cheap if I go to like Europe or something like that, or Canada. But I need to start doing those things, not be afraid of just, hey, you can take shorter trips, multiple shorter trips over the course of a year. I could go to Toronto. I actually really would like to go to Ireland. Even if I only go as far as Dublin, I'm pretty sure I'm going to find shit to do, for a week in Dublin. I'm not going to do that this year, probably. I think my other trips I have in mind this year, I finally need to go to Chicago, preferably going to Chicago during baseball season, so I can go to Wrigley Field and do that. Go to Galloping Ghost, go have a real deal Italian beef sandwich somewhere, probably Al's, but there's a whole gang load of places that'll serve you an Italian beef sandwich, and then maybe go up to like Toronto just to go. Why not? But that's why with this trip, if I'm with the way I've been thinking about it, and certainly now, since I've already hit up my buddy Matthew, and he's already said, yeah, nobody's staying with me during February, so that the timing's good, and it sounds like since he's in the military, he's going to be, not in that area anymore. I don't know if he's staying in Japan or if they're going to like move him out of the country. So it's also kind of the last opportunity to be able to make use of his generosity, his apartment, and his location to be able to, really get some shit done. And I'm looking at this trip now with there's a good number of things I didn't get to the last time. There's things I haven't done, period, or even tried to do. And there's things I haven't done since 2018 when I got there the first time. So, I've already got a list. I'm like, I want to do these things, and anything else that happens in between will happen. But I have a pretty, unlike last time where the first week was pretty solidly booked out. I had shit to do. The last 2 weeks I didn't have, I was kind of playing it by ear, and it turned out to be fairly difficult. That amount of freedom actually ended up backfiring because I was getting lazy. At least I felt like I was getting lazy. I was still doing things. I was still getting shit done. But this time around, I don't want to like inundate myself with way too much to do. But I do need to kind of kick myself and go, hey, let's go back to the watering hole and have some beers. I haven't been there since my first trip there, and it won't be sweltering hot in fucking August this time around. I tried to go to Tokyo Skytree last year, didn't work out because I didn't plan ahead. This time I'm gonna fucking plan ahead, and they actually have a ticket you can buy to go up to. I don't remember which level it is because they have a couple different levels that you can that have vantage points. They have one that it's a nighttime deal. They give you a drink ticket. They take you up to one of the like 350 meters maybe, but you get a nighttime view of the city from there. So maybe I can get a gin and tonic and take in the view and just kind of hang out for a little while. That'd be quite nice. I can't look it up now because it's on my phone. But the real big thing that kind of kicked everything into overdrive, I put in for the ticket lottery for the Nintendo Museum for February, and it worked out. So once I got chosen for that and I knew I could buy the ticket, I went, okay, well, I'm going back to Kyoto again. I got shit I'm going to do there. I'm going to go ride the Eizan Railway because I've shown that off when I've played through Railway Japan Journey to Kyoto. We've seen that. I might not do the trip up to Mount Kurama because the Momiji Tunnel in February is not going to exist. All the trees will probably be barren. So I might just take it up to Mount Hiei and then take that back down. I'm going to go back through and visit some spots and a whirlwind stop in Osaka. I'm trying to think of what else. I never made it back out to Aiko Ishida or anywhere within Atsugi, so I might just go around for a few places there. I might end up back in Oshima. I'm trying to figure out closer to that time what my friend Will is doing, because they had mentioned that even around that time, even though we're after like Christmas and New Year's and whatnot, they still do illuminations there. Not like a light event, but light display, I guess, would be the best way to they have a bunch of stuff set up, but they do that in Oshima, and that'd be really cool to see at night. Get there maybe early enough to wander around before they light everything up. Go to the top of the sea candle and do like a time lapse maybe of the sunset. I think that would be really cool. And check that place out at night because I really liked going through there last year. It was really pretty, and it'd be really nice to see it all lit up and enjoy it at a different time of day and enjoy it with somebody that I've known for quite a few years and get to hang out with them. Yeah, I'm looking for. I got a few things I probably still need to get in order. I think I got most everything though, and I got a month to figure out the rest of it. Like all the. I'm not gonna buy the railway pass this time around. I didn't last time, but I didn't leave Kanagawa or Tokyo. But this time around, I think I'm just going to buy my tickets for the Shinkansen. least this one, I can actually buy like the Nozomi tickets and take the fastest train down there. So it's going to take me less time. Since I would have to take one from what, Shin Yokohama to Kyoto. If I'm going to go to Osaka after I check out of my Airbnb in Kyoto that same day, I'll probably leave pretty early and that'll just take local trains. And then I can take another Shinkansen out of Shin Osaka back to Shin Yokohama. Because other than that, I really don't need the rail pass, and those all went up in price 3 years ago, anyways. But yeah, like I'm gonna try to make the most of this trip as possible, because it's, if I'm not gonna be back for a while, I might as well do what I can. And especially if you're a personal friend of mine, just let me know if you need me to pick you up anything. At this point, I think I'm gonna get like really cheap omiyage for the coworkers, because I don't think anybody really gave a shit about the stuff I brought last year, so they're not getting anything good this time. And I don't think I'm really buying for anybody specific. But for most everybody else, it's like, yeah, there's gonna be like 4 or 5 people I'm really gonna buy. My mom. I know there's a couple of specific things at Kaiju Sakaba. I'm gonna have to go back there. Shinbashi was where that was at. I think they sell a hardcore chocolate made Kaiju Sakaba t-shirt, so I already got DNC's gifts. Oh, that, and there was, I think, keychains. They're done up like the stained glass windows they have in there. So with that being the only remaining location for that, it's like, yeah, if he doesn't own these, grab a couple things for him. Yeah, what, him, my mom, probably the Kindreds, my roommate Aaron, his brother Zach. That's pretty much going to be it. Any omiyage I get for coworkers is going to specifically be from like Mega Don Quixote, because it's all going to be cheap. It's like, no, you get Kit Kats and various other random nonsenses that I could probably buy from like Tokyo Central. It'd probably be about the same price too, since Tokyo Central's owned by Don Quixote, and I can get all that stuff delivered to my house because it just ships from California. So what are we drinking tonight? I know it's an Oktoberfest. Intentans. I think it's Intentans? Sentent? No. Hold on. Yeah. Intentans. Ah, DNC, there he is. Happy New Year. Welcome in. Hope you had a good workout stream. Don't know why you're giving me money, but thank you. Yeah, Intentans Oktoberfest. Because I forgot, it has a story on the back. Der Intentans is the duck dance, which makes sense given that Abel Baker has a very strong duck theme. But yeah, nice little fest beer lager. After a tough couple of days. I was going to stream last night. We'll get to the work stuff now, I guess, without trying to give away too much. Saw the autumn when you checked in. Yeah, those were trunk beers, and I've had that, the mango drop, this one, and I still have the El Pato Loco in there. They're fine. They have not mistreated me. So, yeah, I was going to stream last night for New Year's Eve, just for an hour. It's probably what I'm going to do tonight. But I spent the first half of my shift, about 3.5 hours, almost 4, calling for coverage. Since I walked in and it was like, oh, hey, we got shifts to fill for this property. And it's one that we're taking over, because obviously I work for, the property I'm at. And we just actually had an organizational shakeup for the south part of the strip, because there's a whole bunch where I'm at. There's like 5 or 6 properties right around there. So that got reorganized for my department, or at least within the section I work in. And they said, okay, we're not going to have each location have this type of team. We're just going to combine everybody, and we're going to piece them out in, restaurants or hotel operations or that stuff. I'm still where I'm at, working in banquets and conventions, but they were just going to take those things and combine everybody and be like, okay, if you work in restaurants, you're handling scheduling, pieces of this team are handling scheduling and coverage for all the restaurants across these properties. And then there was going to be a much larger daily ops team that's going to take over for stuff. We did, I think it was like 3 weeks before we were supposed to do that. So as we were going into the slow period of the year, it was like, okay, this is like literally the best time to do it. It's going to suck, but if we try to do it a month and a half from now when things pick back up, it's going to be even worse. So it was the 15th of last month they did that, and it's been as you expect when you do a big shakeup. I think my team actually had a clerk to help us out with stuff that left the exact same day he showed up because pardon me, because he found out it's like, well, you got to work this shift, and he's like, I'm not doing that, so he took off. I think the daily ops team has lost people because we've had to help shore some of their stuff up and help with the time editing and whatnot. And I walked in, and by walked in I mean I set up things on my desk here at home because everything shut down around Las Vegas Boulevard, starting with the bus stops at 5 yesterday, and then LVB starts shutting down at 6:30. So there was no way in hell with me closing that I would be able to get down there just fine. Getting home was going to be an absolute nightmare. So it didn't matter anyways. My boss, as well as the director of our department, was just like, nope, everybody work from home the next 2 days. They did that for Christmas. I actually went in on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because I had to close as well to cover those shifts, and that was fun. I was the only person in the office, and they're like, wait, why are you there? I'm like, I'm closing and I can't make plans. What the fuck else am I going to do? This time around, out of necessity for yesterday, working from home needed to happen. But I, hop on for my shift, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we got a call for this coverage for this property. And it was like, 40 people. Usually you don't have to go through that. But, if you're calling for coverage, you got to call down the list and you got to call back up. Thankfully, we don't have to wait, but you're still calling, 39, 40 people twice. And for whatever reason, my phone line was fielding calls from other properties, which I don't believe it was supposed to do because my team has a specific fucking line and a specific number. So I was like trying to call up, and all of a sudden you get a call and go, blah, 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 workforce. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, I got to call back. And I'm like, let me get your number real quick. I'm like, have to look them up and be like, all right, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to have to contact somebody else and see what the hell they were calling you about. This is just wasting a bunch of time. So yeah, within those first 4 hours, we were offering shifts mainly for New Year's Eve for the same day. It's like, hey, I got to fill 2 of these for 1, and I got a bunch for 6 o'clock. Of course, nobody's coming in at 6 o'clock on fucking New Year's Eve. It's hard enough to get those ones. And eventually, it took so long to try to fill those, they became ASAP shifts. And all of a sudden, you're now having to give them, be like, well, you got 2 hours to arrive. So what was this time is now going to be this time over here. So yeah, after 4 hours of doing that, I was just like, I'm not hopping online tonight. I actually fell asleep by like 11. I think I woke up maybe at like 12:40. I don't know why. I was kind of restless anyways. I'm gonna see how restless I am tonight going to bed. But yeah, no, I was just like, I'm not doing shit. I had a beer. I got cleaned up, and I fucking just kind of sat around for a little bit until I was tired enough to go to sleep. And I'm probably going to do the same thing. It's almost 8:30 here right now. By 10:30, I'm probably going to be ready to go to bed. So I'm kind of hoping DNC for tomorrow, even though we're still hanging out with the Kindreds and we're getting started early, we're not going till like midnight. I would love to be done by like 10:30. That'd be fucking terrific. Come home, have a normal bedtime. I can wake up at like 7 because I still have to get back up at 2:30 on Sunday morning to go to work because I got to cover the opening shift that day. Those are kind of rough, but it's not too bad from when I usually have to get up for my shift. But I haven't worked, and plus the person I'm covering, if our normal opener, she like almost never takes time off. All the closing shifts I've been covering have been mainly the person above me in seniority and the person below me in seniority accrue PTO really quickly, because within the team, there's different seniorities, but with their time with the company, they've been there much, much longer. So of course, the longer you're with there, your PTO changes, the amount you accrue each year changes. So they managed to get quite a bit. So it's generally been mostly slow on our end. So they've been taking that time, but I'm the person. Yes, I am definitely down for that. I'm hoping they have, they're going to have that one because it's a new beer. I'm hoping they still have the Japanese lager with coffee from last week. But if they use the same exact coffee to make this stout, it's going to fucking kick ass. But yeah, like that, I'm with my rotation at work. I work Sunday through Thursday, 7 to 3, but I'm also the person that covers when nobody's out. For the most part, I haven't had to really change my days off. There have been some changes here and there. And like the first part of November, I had to like completely change my schedule because that person, our normal closer, was just taking all that time off. So it's like, well, I got to work a rotation. And that's kind of the bad part. Like I'm third out of 4 on the team, but I honestly feel like I'm like dead last because I'm the one that has to kind of upend my own life to cover when nobody's there. If I take time off, like when I'm gone in February, it won't matter. I'm the mid shift person. You still have an opener and a closer, and there's overlap between those two people. So unless it gets really busy and it sucks to not have that third person there, me leaving doesn't matter. Somebody else leaving 100% matters. Out of the last few weeks, I haven't had to really change my days. It's just, hey, you got to open here. If I'm lucky, and my boss has done a pretty good job of that. If I'm lucky, if I open and then go to close, that's fine because I'm off at 1:30 and I don't have to be up the next day until like 7. And at least in one instance where it was going to be I had to close and then come back and open, he just asked the other person working that day, hey, can you come in and open so I don't have to have this really crazy turnaround? Because if I'm off at 6:30, I don't get home till like 8, and then I got to get back up at 2:30. So I might at best get like, I'd have to come home, lay down immediately, get cleaned up and then lay down. I might get like 4.5, 5 hours tops. That I've done it. It's a really rough turnaround. So thankfully we get to avoid that. But I haven't worked my normal rotation in like 2 months, over 2 months. So I'm kind of fucking done. I think, I don't know what next week's gonna look like. I'll find that out from my boss tomorrow, most likely, as our schedule gets made. I think our normal closer, when I was talking to them last, they're pretty much out of PTO. So for the most part, there's like one other person I might have to cover with, but hopefully we just don't get offered anything. I might, if I can, I might take an extra day, but I don't want to have that cut into how much I accrue between now and my vacation. I mean, half the time I'm taking is going to be unpaid, and I'm already cool with that. I should have like at least 7 paid days out of that, and then like 7 unpaid, and then of course my normal days off that kind of fall in between that. So I'm ready for vacation for sure. I took some time off around Thanksgiving, but like I just need a nice, unwind, completely disconnect from everything type vacation because I haven't had that since last year, so earlier last year, I guess. Other than that, how you doing? I think it has been. Has it been Thanksgiving? The last time I hopped on, it's been a little bit. But yeah, as long as this microphone's working out okay, and it has different levels, like I can adjust the gain, turn the gain down. And if I'm outside and I try to live stream, there is an extra level of noise cancellation to take out a lot of that noise. I don't know if I'm gonna like. I want to do. I didn't live stream in Japan last year, so I would like to do it at least at the bare minimum 2 of them with this trip. I don't know if I want to do like walk around ones, but maybe I will. Actually, one idea I have, and I'll probably do that, would be a konbini picnic. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I've been trying to hold that one in. That wasn't going to happen anymore. That'll be me at the Combini picnic too. But since obviously since I'm staying with my buddy Matthew, he's near Yamashita Park in Yokohama. I've taken you guys there before in videos, but I would like to grab some stuff, get some nice goodies, especially if it's a decent day and it's not too windy. It's probably going to be a little chilly, so I'll still have, my jacket on. I'm hoping to find. Still looking around. I'm trying to find like a mid-tier. It's a terrible way of putting it, but like a mid-tier winter jacket because I have one that works in most cases and it's certainly helpful at work since the office is always cold, but it's not good enough without having extra layers on underneath as opposed to the big jacket I have, but that thing is like overkill for most things. So I need something kind of in the middle that has some insulation that's a little bit lighter, but for most applications, especially out here, since Vegas doesn't it gets cold. It go come with me and do my commute in the morning at like 4:30. It's fucking cold sometimes, depending upon the time of year. But yeah, I need something different. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to like try to find some shit at Uniqlo. But yeah, like go down to Yamashita Park because there's those Combini near his apartment. I got fucking there's a natural Lawson right across the street. If I go down to entrance between entrance 3 and 4 for the train station, there's a 7-Eleven right there. There's a 7-Eleven like almost the same amount, a little bit further south. And there's also, I don't remember, I think the nearest Family Mart is probably right in Chinatown. And that's an iffy if they might actually have some stuff because if it's busy, that fucking, I don't know what the hell that Famima is going to have. Plus, there was a spot around there. There was a Daily Yamazaki around there too. There's like one or two mini stops. They're further over. They're actually over by like Nogecho and much further away. But in any case, there's options. Or I even just go to the Mega Donkey. But the park's close enough. Getting to my point, it would be nice to go there, grab some stuff, go to the park, have a sit, find a spot wherever, hopefully one with a nice view, and sit there and have a picnic. Just try some stuff and hang out, and having a microphone that isn't, because obviously if I'm doing that outside, the phone mic's not going to work, but having an actual mic will work. There are some limitations to the Mic Mini, though I think I could probably hook it up. The Pocket 2 does have a 3.5 mil jack, and I do have a way of connecting to that. But the thing with that is this, I mean, it already comes with a mic anyways. That's one of the benefits. Like this kit for the Pocket 2 had the extra Wi-Fi accessory that hooks up to the bottom, because otherwise this thing's really small. And it came with the microphone. I think it might work with my Osmo Action 2, but that, I think it might be like a 3.5 mil to a 3.5 mil to maybe a USB-C. It's a little strange. That one I tried to do USB-C to USB-C and it didn't even bother trying to recognize it. But I feel like with the Action 2, that was one I had a lot more I was going to do with it, and then I'd never really used it. And then when I got the Pocket 2, I'm like, well, this is the same fucking thing, except far more useful. So, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what I want to do with that. Because, I mean, the Pocket 2 kit was fine. A whole bunch of batteries. The camera works great. It's kind of redundant. And, the Pocket 2 will still do quite a few things. I think any major filming I need to do with that, I need to check the other programs I have on here on my phone for cameras, because I know the bitrate for the normal camera the normal camera app for iOS fucking sucks. And I found that out during editing and looking at stuff after I had uploaded it last year, and I went, huh, this is supposed to be 4K. It looks like shit. And then I looked at the bit rate for the videos, within Windows Explorer, and took a good look at them, and I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like shit because the bit rate fucking sucks. I was getting, I think the stuff I recorded at 1080 60 on the Pocket 2 was, I don't remember the numbers now, 60 something. It was obnoxiously high for for 1080p 60, way higher considering I think 1080p 60, the bit rate for even viewing that, I think it was like 60 megabits a second, and 8 megabits is the cap on YouTube, which is why those videos, they weren't shot in 4K, but I uploaded them in 4K because I'm like, if I don't, the bit rate is gonna fucking, it's gonna look like shit when I put these up. It's not gonna look right. So I know I'm not gonna shoot in 60 frames for anything this time around. It's probably gonna be like 4K 30 for the most part, or whatever I can shoot in that will end up reducing the amount of light flicker around most places. But I need to look at the other applications I have on the phone because DJI Mimo will record stuff. So I don't know what that generally records in, but I also have Final Cut Camera from Apple themselves, which I'm hoping records in a higher bit rate because I think it can record in like ProRes as well. And that's, ProRes is like fucking humongous. I tried exporting like several minute videos in that, and it's like, hey, do you want 120 gig video for like 5 minutes worth of 5 minutes worth of footage? I'm like, no, but that would be really useful to some people. I just need it to be in. That's one of the things I'm upset about with a Final Cut Pro. You can't fucking, there's no granular selection of bitrate. I can do that in Vegas Pro on my PC, where it's like, hey, you can pick, hey, what's your frame rate, what's your fucking resolution, and you can either choose a constant bit rate or a variable bit rate. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm putting a 60 or 65 megabit a second bitrate video into here, I want that coming back out. I don't want a loss on that. Variable bitrate is fine because there's going to be certain sections where it doesn't need to be high. If it's a mostly still image, that bitrate can drop as far as it needs to as long as it looks fine. And that'll reduce some of the file size, because if you have a constant bit rate, it's always going to be, hey, if I have, set it really high and it's a constant bit rate, but it's mostly still images, that file is going to be huge for no reason. But, VBR will be a little bit better on that. So, things to consider, things to look at, but I need to do some experiments and figure out, because I'm fine with filming with my phone if I know I can get decent quality out of it. But I will have, obviously, having my phone on a gimbal is really obvious. Having my Pocket 2, it's not quite as obvious. And that would be one thing about the Osmo Action that I have that would be even less obvious, because it's, it's the size of a GoPro. It's something you can kind of just stick in a corner and nobody's really going to notice it. But I need to get, a little bit more. Although after last time, with having more people tell me not to film, I might be less likely to film in public anyways. So that's why I figured, like, having a picnic and finding a spot where it's just showing me and parts of the background and I'm not filming people and it's very clearly pointed in, my direction, it's going to weird people out less. And it's, when it's very obviously me just doing something, I'm not filming random strangers or anything. Especially since I already don't do the thing that a lot of Japan-based YouTubers do, which is blur people's faces, because I'm just like, I don't have the time for that shit. And I if I was living there, I would probably do it. I'm there, a couple weeks out of some years. I don't know, man. I'm not deliberately trying to film you. You're just in the shot. Sorry. And a lot of people still wear face masks, and they probably will be during February. So I don't know. Anyways, what else? Yeah, I don't think I really went over anything for Christmas. Christmas was fine. I still have some stuff. My mom sent me a Hickory Farms box, so I've been slowly going through that. I've had like 3 different summer sausages, a few things of cheese, and a couple jars of mustard, and some bags of trail mix, 2 different kinds. Trail mix is long gone. I'll eat the hell out of trail mix, especially if it's mostly like cashews and peanuts and almonds and whatnot. The other one had most of that stuff. It had cranberries in it too. That was really good. Working through one of the jars of mustard. I think I've gotten through like 2 summer sausages and two logs of cheese. But I think I still have like 2 things of cheese. One of them's like kind of the squarish log. The other one's a round deal. It's like, what was it? A thing of, I got it right here. Hold on. Whoops, there went stuff that was on the desk. Yeah, I have a thing of smoked Gouda. Another thing of, I've already gone through one thing of smoked cheddar. So I have a second one, and then I have, was this a spicy one, or did I go through the spicy one? I think I might have eaten the spicy one. And then I have one more summer sausage. Within the last day or so, I went through the log of sharp cheddar cheese and then the turkey summer sausage. Turkey one was weird because it was more moist. That's probably not a great way of putting it, than I would have expected. And I actually had checked their website because it's like they usually say they're semi-dry, but I'm like, well, this one's not all that dry. And like the only review on one of the pages was that it was spoiled. I'm like, well, all the stuff I have is not spoiled. Everything's within date. And the packaging and anything on that hadn't changed since I had gotten it a few weeks ago. So, and I opened it up and I'm like, yeah, there's more, it's, I don't know what, I figured it was just like, there's got to be moisture, or like some kind of fat content in here, because turkey's a really lean meat. You need to add some kind of fat to it in order to help it along. So I think why some people don't like turkey burgers, just because they tend to be really dry because it's just no fucking fat. But like, it wasn't spoiled. It passed all the tests. It didn't look bad. It didn't smell bad. Is that me doing that? I don't know. Try that again. No, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if you saw it. There was a little thumbs up emote coming off of my head, but I think that might have been, is that the camera? Yeah, that is the camera doing that. I forgot I turned that on. I need to turn that off. But yeah, it didn't look bad, didn't smell bad. And then I cut a piece off and I tasted it, and it tasted fine. I obviously have eaten the whole summer sausage. I ate half of it last night. I had half of it for lunch today. Yeah. So that one I was like, shit, I'll take more of the turkey summer sausage. The beef one's fine. I had to remember though that I thought it was a casing that they wrap around it. It's actually like a paper, because the first one I had opened up and I sliced it off and I started chewing it, and I'm like, my casing's not really like going away. And I'm like, oh, that's paper. Hold on. All right. It seems like a very like it's Hickory Farms is a very like old school kind of thing to get, which is funny because that was what I ended up getting her, because it's like, I know my mom likes Hickory Farms summer sausage, from way back when I was a kid, because it feels like they've been selling that for eons. The sweet hot mustard kicks ass though. That I would like a bigger jar of. The cheese is clearly like it's a pasteurized cheese product. Like, you don't have to, when you open it, it's better to keep it refrigerated. You have to keep it refrigerated, but when it's not opened, it's perfectly fine and shelf stable. It's pasteurized, so you can do that. So it doesn't taste, the sharp cheddar didn't have kind of like the same taste to it. You can clearly tell like it's been pasteurized. It's not fake, but it's different. It still tasted perfectly good though. It's nostalgic though. And I hadn't had something like that in years. Other than that, I bought one of the few things I could before it goes up in price for my computer, and that was an external hard drive. So saw the news report, was it yesterday, that the graphics cards are going to go up in price over the next few months by like a ridiculous amount, because all the companies making them are going really heavy duty into Gen AI parts and trying to sell those. So like even the top of the line, already very expensive, was the RTX 5090 from Nvidia, that's like $2,000, is potentially going to go up to like $5,000, and I'm like, who the fuck's going to buy that then? I can't wait for all the Gen AI stuff to fucking bottom out, and all these companies are going to lose their whole ass, and they'll have gutted their fucking consumer divisions to try to fund this other shit, and they're going to have all these parts that aren't useful, or they're going to have all this stuff that they, overcharged for, and it's kind of like, what do we do now? It's like, you're going to have to fire sell all that stock, buddy. Was it the company that ran a Crucial that would make RAM's expensive anyways, and when an entire company shuts down their consumer division that's selling RAM, pardon me, just to fucking go whole hog into this other shit, what are you gonna do when you lose out? You're just gonna fucking close at that point. I'm glad I bought my fucking Steam Deck. I can tell you that much. I have to imagine some of the pricing on that's gonna have to go up. And who knows what the pricing on the Steam machine will be when Valve launches that. The only thing I want is the controller. I think playing, especially when I'm playing my Steam Deck on the TV, it would be nice to have all the features that are built into the controls of the Steam Deck, but in a much easier to hold form factor. Although I will be honest, I like the trackpads and I like the idea. I do not use them that often, even for first-person shooters, because I cannot quite come to grips with that. I feel like it's maybe I could dial it in. I never could get to the point where it was where I could kind of just move my thumb and have enough motion out of things with thumbs up again, without it having just feel weird. So it feels like I have to flick the touchpad in order to really do a lot of things, and it doesn't feel quite as accurate. Thankfully, some games, like if I'm playing like Doom or Heretic, like there's no mouse aim, and you can just use your sticks. Just use because the analog sticks work just fine. And games that I've played where it's just regular controls, as long as it recognizes the Steam input, it's fine. Some games have a really hard fucking time, but it feels like there's ways around that. Which reminds me, I had side-loaded Dino Crisis from GOG on there. I think I need to tweak the controls a little bit, but I might do a playthrough on that soon. So many things I have working on right now. I got to finish Metroid Prime 4. I'm most of the way through that, but it's been a couple, maybe, been about probably almost a couple weeks. I'm trying to get through certain things before I start major games again. I didn't end up getting through Ghost of Tsushima. Didn't like it as much as I would have thought I would have. It's fine. It's a really well-made game. It's just, I think I was expecting something else out of it. I think I also, having come out of like 3 Ninja Gaiden games, I played through Ghost of Tsushima because I was like, oh, I kind of want to go back and try restarting Nioh. But if I do that, I'm putting off playing through Ghost of Tsushima. So I was like, let me get this done first, and then we'll revisit this afterwards. And yeah, like it's a well-made game. The combat though is not like super deep, and it just turns into it, especially like freeing villages and freeing farms, it just turns into kind of a slog. It's not really what I wanted out of that. The story's fine. It's clearly a well-made game. I think I would play Ghost of Yotei when it gets cheaper, but we'll see. Nioh, I do want to still try to pick back up. I'm kind of struggling finding just like a very good beginner's guide that doesn't try to just immediately throw you into thinking about the meta at the end game. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that. Just tell me what works and let me go from there. Because I also picked up Rise of the Ronin not long ago as well for like really cheap. But I didn't want to like immediately go into that after playing Tsushima. Um, so trying to kind of like balance things out. I might do another first person shooter, but I got a lot of shit to play through. A lot of stuff I have played through, a lot of stuff I have yet to play through. We'll get there though. So I put this thing on in the background, off to the side on my TV. They better light my face, and didn't quite do that. So, what is this doing? I didn't want to have something that was changing changing brightness a whole lot, but that was a very consistent brightness. It was just too low. And that's kind of the problem, is finding like something to run off to the side. Oh well. Maybe I'll just play that. Probably gonna hop off here in a few minutes anyways. We'll run it till past the top of the hour. Yeah, I mean, as I was talking about the last time I was on, and that time I wasn't on camera. This year will probably be a lot like last year in terms of how things are going to go, both with streaming as well as with YouTube. I'm not forcing myself to do anything I don't want to do. I'm not forcing myself to just make content for the sake of making it. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. If I want to, if I do a number of shorts in a row because I managed to find something worth making shorts about, then great. I'll go ahead and do that. I would, with this upcoming Japan trip, like to make something pertaining to it. I probably will mostly make shorts. I do plan on filming while I'm there. Obviously, I'm going to try to, stream at least twice while I'm there. But I don't think I'm going to vlog every day. I don't want to have that, especially with it being a shorter trip and especially with me trying to do more during the trip. I don't want to hold myself to having to figure out how to do all that and then, get back to where I'm staying at the end of the day and try to make something out of it. I'll be honest, it sounds fucking terrible. I am not interested in that at all. I would rather do what I did back in like 2019, where it's just film the whole time, put stuff up here and there, and then make something out of it afterwards. I hope I would have enough to where at least I could make a video, maybe a couple of videos. But we'll have to. I'll have to figure that out. But I really just, during the whole rest of the process, no. Streaming, not so much. It's been nice to just kind of play shit and not have to think about, oh, am I going to play this online? Am I going to am I saving this for specifically for a stream? I just would rather just play it at my leisure, play it at my own speed, not have to think about how it looks to other people, whether it's interesting or not. No, I just fucking just play it. And I feel like once I kind of just started doing that, I was getting through, more and more stuff. So, if I feel like I could find something where if I was streaming one day a week, that I could stream it just that one day a week. And I could leave it for the rest of the time and then come back to it for the next stream. And I'm okay with just playing it, basically 4 times a month, more or less. Then I might do that. It would be kind of nice to get back to like a day a week, but I think I will only do that when I'm ready to commit to that. When I know I can commit to that. Not only time-wise, but mentally be able to go, yes, Saturdays at this time at like noon, yes, I'm going to stream for like 2 or 3 hours and then, go on with the rest of my day. Because at least, you know, a weekend it would work out the best just because I'm already off. I'm already home. I wouldn't want to have to come and get off of work, come home and have to fucking stream unless I knew I already had everything set up. And that's usually just not how that has worked out. Nothing's been set up. I still have more work to do in here to be able to make sure that I can access everything very easily. It hasn't been that way in a long time because I haven't had to think about it. And I know as far as, you know, what I have been making in the past, as far as like documentaries and different series, that's not, some of it I would like to do in the future. That's not where my headspace is at right now. I don't have to, again, explain a whole lot if you've kept up even in a minor way with what's been going on with the Like a Dragon series and with what's been happening in regards to Kiwami 3. It makes me not want to, I'm certainly not going to play it on stream. I have to figure out how to purchase it without, you know, if I feel like I don't want to give Sega or RGG Studio money for that particular release, then I got to figure out how to do that. And I've spent the last several years of my life really like entrenched in that. And I'm burnt out. Not a little, I am burnt out. And I think just in general, I'm seeing that within parts of the community where people, I, I feel like are just kind of getting to the point where it's like, we've had way too much over the last like 5 to 7 years. The series needs to go away. It needs to give people time to miss it and then come back. And that'll either happen or Sega will continue to, you know, make them pump games out. But I also know it's like I've spent a lot of time and my own money making stuff. I'm proud of what I made. The community clearly does not care about it, and yeah, it's left me a little bitter, more than I would like to admit, but I think it's also in time for me to figure out different things that I can make that aren't tied to a specific series or tied to a specific property. Just to make stuff that I'm proud of, that I think means something to me, but also is independent of everything else, because clearly, you know, I am a niche within a niche. There's a lot of people that like RGG. There's not a lot. It's still small enough to where that community doesn't disperse into like multiple places. Like, you're going to find stuff on YouTube. You're going to find people in the subreddit for Yakuza games. If I can't get noticed by any one of those, then you know, I need to stop wasting my time. And I certainly, as I said back in November, I don't want to spend my own money and my own time doing something. Even if I enjoy doing it, I still want people to see it. And if people don't care, then I'm kind of wasting my time. I'd rather make, at that point, I might as well pivot to making stuff I'm proud of and stuff I enjoy that also has a much more personal meaning to me. Because at least at that point, I have to accept that I'm making this for the sake of making something that I enjoy, that I care about, you know. My throat is starting to get a little hoarse. You know, that sucks because I know I'm proud of that. And I think it was Modern Vintage Gamer was saying, it's like, hey, if you're not getting your stuff seen, it's not the algorithm. It's paraphrasing, by the way. It's not the algorithm fucking you over. It's just your stuff's not that good. And I think in some respect that's true. In other respects, I think it's also sometimes the algorithm's not fucking you. It's just being noticed is really hard. And some people make extremely good content and nobody fucking sees it. So, you know, sometimes, yeah, if you're just kind of chasing whatever is out there without any regard of whether or not you care about it, yeah, you're probably not going to get very far. And sometimes you also can grind like crazy and you're never going to get where you want to be. So I think that's where I was at. Like, I wasn't grinding, trying to get noticed. It was like I was making stuff I was proud of and I thought people would like, and clearly some people do. Not enough do. not enough to make it worth, you know, continuing to spend my own money specifically on this. And I know I'm never going to get the attention of the rights holders of that series where they're going to go, oh, hey. So, you know, it's okay to pivot away from that and to do something different. And it's also okay to just go, you know what? I've done quite a bit, and I'm proud of what I've accomplished, and I don't have to continue working like that anymore. And if I wanted to go away, I can do that too. I'm not going to. Um, almost 3 years ago, I thought I was going to step away, and I didn't. And I'm not going to go back to that. It's just going to be like, you're going to get stuff from me when I decide you know, if I want to put together a really, especially I think I have tried to hype stuff up in anticipation of people caring more than I, you know, found out that they do. And that's not against that. It's just, you know, people get excited about what they want to get excited about. I'm way more excited about certain things than other people are. But you know, if I was going to do another big series, I don't think I would, you know, do stuff leading up to it. I'm just going to fucking dump it on people's laps one day. Be like, hey, here you go. Here's another 2-hour documentary. And just not tell people about it. And that's, don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather just do things at my speed, at my convenience, and you know, whatever makes sense to me. And if I go 2 years without making something, oh well. It sucks because I do in a pretty decent sized way, I do feel unfulfilled, you know, and work's kind of taken over my life. But also it's just, I'll figure it out. I always do. It's a downer note, anyways. Yeah. All right. That's enough from me. It is after 9 o'clock. I'm gonna finish my beer. Probably have something else to munch on, brush my teeth, and then lay down for a little while until I fall asleep. So, happy New Year to everybody. Hope 2026 treats us pretty well. If I don't see you before I go to Japan, I'll see you in fucking Japan. I'll figure out I think the Kombini picnic idea is pretty solid. So I'll have to figure out uh, another live stream idea from there. Maybe I will just go back to Kabukicho and wander around, and we'll see what happens, and maybe I'll get yelled at or something. But yeah, until I see you again, stay safe, stay well, watch out for weirdos out there. Happy New Year to you, and we will see you all later. Have a good one. Have a good night. And until next time. Ooh. I haven't hit end stream yet, so hold on. Let's hit the end stream button. Let's go.